Yesterday's conspiracy theories, tomorrow's headlines. Most are still asleep and I ain't talking about no bedtime. The truth is not a Google search, you need to get your head right. The Greek goddess of illusion was called Media, and I'm not a coincidence theorist, I look for thread lines. Smashing every deadline, no longer smashing red wine. Though I can hear the bells chime, it feels like the end times. That probably should have been smashed on red wine, but the carnal mind is foolish. Obey and end up ghoulish. Don't get used by instinct, take control and learn to use it. Make a load of earnest music, earn a few quid, learn a few tricks. Sure, the truth is persecuted, this whole world is pure abusive. Know a bit about everything and everything about nothing. Figured out my noggin while you picture out shopping. You sit about watching while I dish it out, stop it. I don't mean to sound cocky, I'm not even proud of it. It's a second nature to me just to be this out honest. I don't even need to sound honest, never been about profit. Everything but out on it, you can bet your house on it. Doubt I'll be out for the count when the sounds, and I'm down for the beat, no beat down. I mean, how long's it been? Help me out. I've been the only one who's held me down. All in the mind, hell freeze now. Still sick with it, healthy how? Few bars down and the world freaked out. I don't reach out, I seek out to speak out. I'ma recount the reasons they beat out.
Hello. Welcome, everybody, to the 509 Divine Pines podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Daniel Pena. Thank you for being here. It is March 23rd, 2026. I'm just thinking about life, man. It has been wild. Time's moving by fast, and it seems like we're in those years right now that seems like it's the end times. It's Armageddon. Just unbelievable, it's not even just about rumors of war. This is straight up, we're in war, and there's meteors going off. Places that were considered the Holy Lands have been destroyed recently and over the last century, for a lot of cultures, disrespectfully, and statues, remnants, these sites have been tarnished, looted, destroyed. The native sites and the native peoples have been removed from their land for the most part, seemingly just a dehumanization all across the world. But what we could do, I guess, is tell the truth, and we can pray for the world. Might be a little rough out there. Not a lot of people accept prayers. Sometimes if you say you want to pray with someone, or you want to say a prayer for someone, they get offended. It's like, whoa, hold on, no, you don't always mean it that way, but people will take it that way. So it's a little strange, I guess. But thank you guys for being here. Like, subscribe, and share. Tell your friend and your friend's friend and their friends about this podcast. Wouldn't be able to do this without you. Please, if you could, donate over to 509 Divine Pines at PayPal, buy me a coffee, and Cash App. If you guys would like, go over and visit my sponsors down below. Plenty of sponsors. You can go over to Shop C60 for the best antioxidant that I've ever taken, a Nobel Prize winning supplement, one of the best. One of the best. Like, over the last few years, it's kept me strong, healed me in situations where I thought I was down and out with injuries. It's kept my energy high, kept me from being sick. Everything about this, it's very simple and very potent. Go over to Shop C60 to learn more, and use coupon code 509 Divine Pines for 10% off your order. We are going to get into Tesla Terafab. A couple of these refineries out here being hit, and it might be war. It really might be war, considering what America has been doing. A lot of people have been warning, just wait till it happens to America, and America is just going to be so surprised they're not going to know what hit them, and they're going to be just, everyone, the people are going to be like, well, when people are so dull, numb, right? And these whole sleeper cell agents it's crazy as shit because who trained them, and who's paying them, and who's funding them, and where are they getting supplies, and is it possibly just within our own lands that these places were allowed to spawn? We're gonna get into that and more meteors out here today. Well, it's going crazy. Even in my own local area, there was a meteor that happened in Pacific Northwest. See, a couple months ago, I saw some green light flash in the sky, but I didn't think anything of it, and I kind of just maybe thought it was like a shooting star or something. And then now all these things happen. Um, I think really, guys, we are in for a wild time. This isn't just your normal media shower. If it's being like hit, on the ground in Ohio, right, or whatever, like exploding on the ground in Ohio. So these things are real. Let's get into this first and foremost. Take a quick little gather commercial break. Second.
Not new, what I do. I've been at it for a minute, pursuing, doing the damage new. I would do everything that I said I would do. I gotta have it, so goddamn it, I'ma be everything I plan to be. Glad to see money coming my way, believe I'll achieve anything I put my mind to, or at least I try to. I'm avoiding my doom, manifesting my room. Meditate to ease the flow. Third eye open, see the golden energy. It can enter me, get me to feeling full. Forget my enemies, dead to me, yeah, I proceed to go to a new dimension. Gotta mention it's inside a soul. Go inside, fuck the outside. Never tell lies, show pride for belief. Gotta keep the range wide, so instead I just write another hit. Getting fried, rolling up, smoke another blunt for the good times. Good times, bad times makes for the good rhymes. So it never matters, I just learned, no I can't hide. Thank God for every second was birthed with the mind of an ancient soul who's just waiting for the next sign. I'm always watching, vision like a hawk, have 'em flocking. When I drop it, I'm talking, have 'em knocking. The knowledge that I'm dropping, I'm coming out the noggin, I'm logged in. That's the intuition, nothing wrong with doing what you feel is right. Everybody got this. Usually feel it in the night when I'm dropping knowledge. Never even needed any college, abolish people telling people what they want. I do not wish control over anybody. Do it for the profit. That's the reason that they push it. Do it from the cockpit, cause they got the money, want the money on the mob shit. On the mob shit, but I know they ain't gon' make it. Shit is poppin'. At the end of time, new age topics. Revolutionary crusade cross. Here we go to a new space. Yeah, we enter in a new place. Louis V on my shoelace, rolling with the blue face. Yeah, I'm wondering what you chase. Just another dude caught up in the rat race. Moving my pace, lot of people looking at me sideways. I chase future preparations, gotta go through my phase till I feel ready to rearrange it. Happen on a daily basis, tripping oasis. When so many people that I can see through their faces and touch, so I'm reading minds, feel like I'm evasive, persuasive, cause I feel the vibe, manipulation, I'm patient. Yeah, I feel the vibe.
It's off mute. Man, I can never tell if this is off mute quick enough. Yo, let's get into this, man. Oh, dude. Where's switch this over. This is what I need. This is why I need an assistant. 100%. Go follow my Twitter. Go follow my social medias over at 509 Divine Pines. Yo, so this oil refinery, I think this might be because of some attacks over there in the Middle East that America is kind of responsible for, or condoning, or just doing themselves? Well, yeah, this is insane. So a deleted Saudi tweet predicted Port Arthur refinery attack 1 hour before the explosion. At Al Hibi 43, a Saudi X account created in April 2023 and connected via a Saudi Android app, posted a specific warning that Motiva Enterprises in Port Arthur, Texas, the largest U.S. refinery at up to 720,000 barrels per day, would be destroyed within a week. The post went up an hour before the Valero refinery explosion. 1 hour, guys. That's an inside job. The user then deleted the warning and all 4,739 of his previous posts. He follows no one and has made 931 videos and photos. So sounds like an agent or a sleeper cell or someone who is on the inside job. Whoa. Now, there's a second part to this. The much larger and Saudi-owned refinery that is right across the street of this Port Arthur. So the Saudi refinery is right across the street from the Valero refinery. Not just a coincidence, and not just a coincidence that this Saudi account posted a warning. But this is not all. So they say it's just coincidence, guys. They say it's nothing to worry about. While gas prices are going through the roof, this doesn't do anything for the lower middle class. This only hurts everyone. This hurts everyone who is let's just say below 200,000, even maybe below 100,000. If you're over in California, yeah, their rent is ridiculous. So maybe their $10 a gallon gas might just be hurting them. This is insane. The elite are just getting richer. They're not really hurting. Well, they're in their $1 billion, $1 trillion mansions, estates, their cities, their jets, whatever they're even driving these days, flying these days, riding around these days. Like they're just, you can't even fathom how much minerals and resources they're wasting and then taxing us through the roof. It's all on purpose, guys. 23 oil and natural gas facilities across 9 countries in the Middle East have been hit by military strikes from Iranian, Israeli, and U.S. forces. Today, the port of Valero was hit today. Russia's biggest refinery was hit yesterday. You need to wake up and pay attention. So this is all just to match up with the Agenda 2030 and their global plan, the World Economic Forum's global plan to have electric cars. See, over here in Washington State, our previous governor, Governor Inslee, made this law where it's like by 2030 you're supposed to have electric cars. Anybody who's driving gas or diesel is going to get banned. Well, that's kind of like the World's Economic Forum's plan. These guys and the elites, they really want that. They want to have all gas out. They want to have all their little electric cars because they could control it. They can turn it off. They can literally drive you where they want you to, how far they want you to. And if you don't say what they want you to on social media, they can shut off that electric car, which is why the power to gasoline engines is all more the merrier. Diesel engines, all more the merrier. I love me some natural actual engine power. The electric engines kind of just sound whack. It doesn't sound like anything. They're weak. They can't be controlled. They can only last as long as you have a battery charger. Oh shit. If the electricity goes out around the world, you're kind of fucked. But if there's gas, you can make gas. That brown dude, Julian Brown is making that plastoline gas. He just made gas with a plastic. Now these oil refineries are costing us so much money, guys. It's insane. At least think over to schools. Like, come on, why are you blowing up children? So let's go ahead and look through these right here. This is up in flames. Not good. Here's another view. Maybe the same refinery. This is a different refinery, I think.
Yeah, if I can get a hand with it,
There's too many.
Oh, leave.
Why are the refiners getting hit? And not the military bases specifically? Huh? What? This doesn't do good for anybody in war. I mean, like, this isn't helping. Like, this actually hurts the civilians more than it hurts the military. Man, next up, we're going to get onto these meteors. So, remember, last week, a meteor crashed down, causing like a little scare. People were shook. Cameras shook. Cars shook. There was a lot of fright, I guess you would say, because people are scared of meteors. You know, the dinosaurs got taken out by one giant meteor or comet or whatever right? So it's just like in the minds when they hear the word meteor. Some people, I don't really care. A meteor to me is like whatever. If it hits me, I guess that's what really matters, right? If it hits me or anyone around me. But over in Ohio, they had a meteor hit their ground last week, and again this week, another meteor. So I have this on replay, and you can see it in the sky. And this is like the 10th meteor that's been reported publicly over the last like week at least. Another crazy coincidence is objects in the sky, maybe not UFOs, but objects in the sky that are appearing. And a luminous UFO has been spotted in Brazil. Now, this is not the only one. More.
Tava parado, Clay. Eu vi que o Daniel tava parado.
So what's happening in the sky, guys? What is happening? So this is near the University of Florida. Right here. So, whoa. It looked like it opened up the portal. So it's going in slow motion now, right? So let's just like think maybe these are all craft that are just flying around. Because they're not really in. Well, they went into doubles, and then one split off or two split off. Then they flew around, went down past the ring. But this is where it gets a little trippy. So whatever this ring is, it's like causing a dimensional rift. You can see like the waves, you know, the and then it seems like it opens up and it pulls all of those orbs in at once, or so they're getting in a line, right? And they're getting in line, and then what the they get in a line. Look at that. Okay, let's rewind it right around. I can see it the first time. Here we go. So this is in kind of like fast motion. And if we slow it down, let's go 25. You can see the waves, and then it starts seemingly minimizing. Here, you see it starting getting smaller, a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller, a little bit, and then it phases and warps out of reality. So, the government just did make alien.gov. Over the last like 5 years, the government has been disclosing that UFOs and extraterrestrials and spacecraft do exist. These are the type of craft that have been existent. These are the type of craft that we can't put a finger on. Me, you, probably the government. That's why they're confused as shit. Like, they can't even give us a straight answer when they're like, well, these are kind of seemingly a threat to security. Well, we haven't found out who they are. We have a reverse engineered craft from 1942, and then, like, maybe a few others. But what is this? So I've seen something similar. I'm gonna replay this slow just so we can see it step by step. Oh, whoa. So you can see the ring start appearing right here too. Now that I'm going, so right here you see it start forming, or like phasing into reality, or uncloaking, one or the other. It is strange. And so you see the waves and the patterns and the shift of the dimensions, like the ripple through the dimensions, because of its technology. Simple to say. I don't know what it has, but it's very interesting to see that all around the world right now, things are appearing in the sky, and guess what? Nobody can call that bullshit anymore. There's the only people who can are literally insane, like cuckoo. Like, the people who can't even think for themselves they think that this isn't true, and that goes for even adults. It's not just kids who, like, people all around the world, elderly, even the grandparents, whatever. If y'all don't, if you just can't accept that these things exist, well, I we just can't help you. Nobody can help you. I guess, what I mean, you would have to really, like, find a true God, true awakening in a sense. I mean, angels, Jesus. It's people try to, like, make fun of everything, right? And just brush it off. But there's truth to some of these beliefs and to some of these things we're seeing, right? This is whoa. So this looks like a disc. Now that I'm looking at it, it's kind of like moving. It looks like a disc, like of course, like a circle, but like, whoa. Just I'm studying this. So this gets in a line, and then they all. It seems like they're being sucked up one by one, right? Or what was that phase? That was a little strange. What was that? Or the camera moved that thing, maybe. I don't know. The orbs disappear, and then the ring disappears. Yep. Tell you what, aliens. That's the only way to describe it. You know who else is a super alien? Elon Musk. Oh man. So I'm just gonna keep on reading all about this and everybody's opinion. The vision is finally taking shape. As of March 2026, SpaceX and Tesla have finally teamed up for Terafab, the mission over a terawatt of annual compute dedicated to deep space AI and off-world tech. A massive, unified push for off-world civilizations. Well, that's what people think. A lot of people are like really speculating. This is like he wants to get off world, and he wants to get off the world now. So it's a massive unified push into the next frontier. So pretty much would allow us to start living in space. Elon Musk like pretty much silent dropped this. He didn't really tell people he was gonna drop all this and you know try to build it up week by week. Nope, just out of nowhere he boom laid out for everybody. Elon Musk's vision and tech being built in the shadows shows why he's a fierce competitor. Nothing is a coincidence. The original contract address was deployed on November 26, making it the first registered on-chain. So in November 26, he created the registered name or whatever. So he like registered this. So he knew what he was doing in silent, and he didn't really like need to tell anybody. Elon Musk is a smart man. And we're gonna listen to this clip right here. So it is about a 20-minute clip, and you guys have heard me for about 30 minutes, so you can hear an even smarter man for 20 minutes. I'm done.
In order to understand the universe, you must explore the universe. And that's the motivation to accelerate humanity's future in understanding the universe and extending the light of consciousness to the stars.
Well, we have a profoundly important announcement to make, which is the most epic chip building exercise in history by far. This is really going to take things to the next level. So, yeah, a level probably people aren't even contemplating right now. This is not in the, I would call this sort of an out of context problem. It's not in their context. So we're going to adjust the context by a few orders of magnitude here. Let's see. It's a joint effort. I'm pressing the button. But the button's not working. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, yeah, we aspire to be a galactic civilization. So I think the future that everyone, well, most people, I think, would agree is the most exciting is one where we are out there among the stars, where we are not forever confined to one planet, that we become a multi-planet species, like the best science fiction that you've ever read. You know, Star Trek, or Ian Banks, or Asimov, or Heinlein. And we want to make that real. Yeah, not just fiction. Turn science fiction to science fact. That's the glorious, exciting future that I certainly look forward to. It's worth considering sort of like, how would you rate civilizations? You know, there was a physicist, I think it was Russian, in the 60s, Kardashev. He thought about, like, at a high level, how would you consider any given civilization? And he said, well, if you're type 1, you're using most of the energy of your planet. And we actually still have quite a ways to go to be properly a type 1. We're still using a tiny fraction of the sun's energy that reaches our planet. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. But the Earth only receives about 0.5 billionth of the sun's energy. So the sun is truly enormous. The sun is 99.8% of all mass in the solar system. So sometimes people will ask me, like, what about, you know, other power sources of power on Earth? Like, what about fusion on Earth? Well, that is unfortunately very small because the sun is 99.8% of mass in the solar system. And Jupiter is about 0.1%, and Earth is in the miscellaneous category. We are, I think it's Carl Sagan, I think, might have said, Earth is like a tiny dust mote in a vast darkness. Very, very small. The sun is enormous. So the way to actually scale civilization is to scale power in space. This is necessarily true because we actually capture such a tiny amount of the sun's energy on Earth because we're just this tiny dust mote. Another way to think of it is roughly like electricity production on Earth of all of civilization is only about 1/trillionth of the sun's energy, which means if you increase civilizational power output by 1 million, you would still only be 1 millionth of the sun's energy. I mean, it's awe-inspiring to consider that, just how tiny we are in the grand scheme of things. And yeah, we often get sort of caught up in the these sort of squabbles on Earth that are really very sort of minor things when you consider the grandness of the universe. And so I think it is important, actually, to consider the grandness of the universe and what we can do that is much greater than what we've done before, as opposed to worry about sort of small squabbles on Earth type of thing. Not much point in that. Yeah, we want to be a civilization that expands to the galaxy with spaceships that anyone can go anywhere they want at any time. That would be epic. And have a city on the moon, cities on Mars, populate the solar system, and send spaceships to other star systems. That sounds like the best possible future. You know? So to do that, we need to harness the power of the sun. And so a terafab, while it is enormous, a terawatt of compute per year is enormous by our sort of civilizational standards. It is still just one step along the way of being even a Kardashev. You still have a long way to go to even be a Kardashev 2 level civilization, and you're not even registering as a Kardashev 3. So it's a very big thing by current human standards, but still small in the grand scheme. It's very difficult for humans. So to accomplish this very difficult goal really requires a combination of efforts of SpaceX, XAI, and Tesla working together to create this epic Terafab project. So. And Tesla and XAI and SpaceX have all done amazing things that people did not think would be done before. So there's the Giga Texas fab here. There's the Optimus robot that's being built. There's a global supercharging network. Just really quite a lot. And it wasn't that long ago when people thought electric cars wouldn't amount to anything. And there were basically no electric cars for sale when Tesla started. And people said it was impossible, and now Tesla's making 2 million electric cars a year. Yeah. And then XAI, although it's a new company, now part of SpaceX, has also built the first gigawatt scale compute cluster, which in record time. Jensen Huang from NVIDIA said he'd never seen anything built so fast in his life before. So a great compliment from NVIDIA. And then SpaceX, well, I guess you can read it for yourself. Well, you already know. I mean, the reusable rockets, people said that reusable rockets weren't possible, and even if you did do them, they wouldn't be economically feasible. So we did them, and then we made them economically feasible. And now we've landed over 500 times. And then we did the Falcon Heavy, and now we're doing Starship. And Starship is a critical piece of the puzzle, because in order to scale compute and scale power, you have to go to space, which means that you need massive payload to space. And Starship will enable that. So this gives you sort of just a sense of scale. We've got Optimus there, Optimus for scale. And Optimus is about 5'11", so it gives you a sense of the size of the Starship V3 rocket. Starship V4 will be much longer, actually. The Starship V4 will make Starship V3 look kind of short. So we'll expand with Starship V3 to 200 tons of payload to orbit, from 100 tons with V3. And then you can see that that's just a rough approximation of the mini version of the AI sat. So that's roughly 100 kilowatts. It's showing the solar panels and the radiator to scale. So for some reason, there's been a bizarre debate about radiators in space. It's safe to say SpaceX knows how to do heat rejection in space with 10,000 satellites in orbit. Might know a thing or two. So you can see the radiator is actually quite small relative to the solar panels. And we call that the mini-sat, since that's just 100 kilowatts. We expect future satellites to probably go to the megawatt range. Yeah. So in order to get to the terawatt of compute per year, you need about 10 million tons to orbit per year, and at 100 kilowatts per ton. So we're confident this is feasible. Like, no new physics or impossible things are required to get there. So I'm confident actually that SpaceX will get to 10 million tons to orbit per year. And then we're building up to a terawatt of solar. So that will solve the solar problem, the power generation. So then the key missing ingredient is therefore a terawatt of compute. So this announcement is about solving the key missing ingredient. To give you a sense of what we're talking about, the current output of AI compute is roughly 20 gigawatts per year. This chart explains why we need to build the Terafab. Because all of the rest of the output from Earth is about 2% of what we need. So if you add up all the fabs on Earth combined, they're only about 2% of what we need for the terawatt project, or Terafab project. So, We certainly want our existing supply chain, to be clear. We're very grateful to our existing supply chain, to Samsung, TSMC, Micron, and others. And we would like them to expand as quickly as they can, and we will buy all of their chips. I have said these exact words to them. But there's a maximum rate at which they're comfortable expanding, but that rate is much less than we would like. And so we either build the Terafab or we don't have the chips. And we need the chips, so we're gonna build the Terafab. And we're starting off with an advanced technology fab here in Austin. And I believe Governor Abbott is in the audience. I'd like to thank Governor Abbott and the state of Texas for their support. All right. So in the advanced technology fab, we will have all of the equipment necessary to make a chip of any kind, logical memory, and we will also have all of the equipment necessary to make the lithography masks. So in a single building, we can create a lithography mask, make the chip, test the chip, make another mask, and have an incredibly fast recursive loop for improving the chip design. To the best of my knowledge, this doesn't exist anywhere in the world, where you've got everything necessary to build logic, memory, and do packaging, and test it, and then do the masks, improve the masks, and just keep looping it. So, and we're not just gonna do conventional compute in this. I think there's some very interesting new physics that is potentially, that actually I'm confident will work, it's just a question of when. So this is we're really gonna push the limit of physics in compute. And we're gonna try a bunch of wild and crazy things, which you can do if you've got that fast iteration loop. That I can't emphasize enough the importance of being able to make a chip, test it, and then change the design, do another one, and have that in a single building. I think that our recursive improvement with that situation is probably an order of magnitude better than anything else in the world. Yeah. So broadly speaking, we expect to make two kinds of chips. One will be optimized for edge and inference. So that'll be used primarily in Optimus and in the cars, but especially in Optimus, because I expect the robots, humanoid robots, to be made 10 to 100 times more than the volume of cars. So, you know, if vehicle production on Earth is about 100 million vehicles a year, and I expect humanoid robot production to be somewhere between 1 billion and 10 billion units a year. So it's a lot. So yeah, Tesla's going to make a very significant percentage of those, is our goal. And then we need a high-power chip that is designed for space, that takes into account the more difficult environment in space, where you've got high power, you've got high energy ions, photons, you've got electron buildup. It's a hostile environment in space. So you want to design the chip, you want to optimize it for space. And you also want to generally run it a little hotter than you would normally run a chip on Earth to minimize the radiator mass. So there are just a bunch of constraints that you design something differently in space than you would on the ground. And for the space compute, my guess is that is the vast majority of the compute, because you're power constrained on Earth. That's why I think it's probably 100 to 200 gigawatts a year of terrestrial chips, and probably on the order of a terawatt of chips in space. Just because of power constraints on the ground that's probably how it ends up. Space has this advantage that it's always sunny. It's very nice. I actually think that the cost of AI and deploying AI in space will drop below the cost of terrestrial AI much sooner than most people expect. I think it may be only 2 or 3 years before it is actually lower cost to send AI chips to space than it is on the ground. Because in space, you don't need much in the way of batteries because of it's always sunny. And the solar power, you're going to get at least 5 or more times the solar power you get in space versus the ground, because you don't have atmospheric attenuation or a day-night cycle or seasonality. And you're always normal to the sun. So you're really maximizing the solar power at that point. And space solar actually costs less than terrestrial solar because you don't need heavy glass or framing to protect it from extreme weather events. So as soon as the cost to orbit drops to a low number, it immediately makes extremely compelling sense to put AI in space. It becomes a no-brainer, basically. Moreover, as you go to space, you get increased economies of scale, and things get easier over time, whereas as you try to put more and more power on the ground, you run out of space. And you start using up the easy spots, and then you get next-level NIMBY. Nobody wants the thing in their backyard. So actually increasing power on Earth becomes harder over time and more expensive over time, but in space, it becomes actually cheaper and easier over time. These are very important points. So. Yeah. So what you just saw there was, because of course you're asking what's on your mind is, well, what do you do after a terafab? Don't think small. Well, yeah, good point. So we, how do you get to a petawatt is the obvious next question. And you get there by having an electromagnetic mass driver on the moon with robots, with Optimi, and obviously lots of humans. And with that, you can send a petawatt. You can create a petawatt of compute and send that to deep space. Because on the moon has no atmosphere and has 1/6 Earth gravity. So you don't need rockets on the moon. You can literally accelerate it to escape velocity from the surface. And that dramatically drops the cost, once again, of harnessing power and enables you to go 1,000 times bigger than a terawatt. So for sure, the future I want to see, I want us to live long enough to see the mass driver on the moon, because that's going to be incredibly epic. Yeah. That should hopefully get us to 1/millionth of the sun's energy, at least. Humbling to think about that. But 1/millionth of the sun's energy would be 1,000,000 times bigger than Earth's economy, so it's good from that perspective. And then, yeah, you expand beyond that to the planets, to the other stars, and create the most exciting possible future that I can imagine. So. This looks a bit like the opening in Idiocracy with Mike Judge. Unlocking an age of amazing abundance. Yeah, obviously the elements of that are sustainable energy, space travel, and AI and robotics that bring amazing abundance to everyone. It's really the only path to amazing abundance is AI and robotics, which is not to say it can't go wrong. Hopefully, but I think it'll probably go right, and it'll be a future that you love. It's the best future I can think of, at least. So. And then we go beyond the moon, beyond Mars, and we sail through the rings of Saturn. Now, wouldn't it be amazing if you could buy a trip to Saturn? Or frankly, if you just have a trip to Saturn, I think things will just be free in the future. It sounds nuts, but if you've got an AI robotics economy that is anywhere close to 1,000,000 times the size of the current Earth economy, literally any need you possibly want can be met. If you can think of it, you can have it. So I think Ian Banks, in his culture books, has it pretty much right, where there actually isn't money in the future, and there's abundance for everyone. If you can think of it, you can have it. That's it. Which means anyone could have a trip to Saturn. It won't be, just a few people. If you want it, you can have it. Yeah. So. Yeah. Join us on this journey, and help us design incredible chips and make incredible chips and build a terawatt of chips, a terawatt of solar, and 10 million tons to orbit per year. Thank you.